Since the birth of basketball, it was always, and still is, a tall man's game. This is shown in history with the dominance of the big man. All the way back, if you go back to the ABA, all the way up to today to the NBA, the power forward and center were running the game. 28 out of the NBA 76 are big men, which I consider traditional power forwards and centers. Just in the NBA, over the span of its 75-year existence, 20 different power forwards and centers have won the league's MVP. And I know 20 doesn't seem like a lot over 75 years, but there are a myriad of players who have won this award more than once. This list includes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 6, Bill Russell with 5, Wilt Chamberlain with 4, Moses Malone with 3, Karl Malone, Giannis Antetokounpo, and Bob Pettit all have won 2 times. So this means that 7 players have accounted for 24 MVPs. That leaves the other 13 players with 1 each. So out of the 75 MVPs in the NBA's existence, 35 were by big men. Over time, the game has evolved, and in this current moment, I believe the tide is changing. Right now, the NBA is not led by its tallest players. The bulk of the best players on a given team is not the center, nor is it the power forward. There's about 20 teams, give or take, that are led by either a guard or a wing player. And there's approximately 10 other teams, give or take as well, that are led by big men. Those teams being the 76ers, Nuggets, Bucks, Knicks, Pacers, Timberwolves, Rockets, and the Cavaliers. And there's some debate about other teams like the Raptors and the Pelicans, who's the best player on that team. But like I said, there aren't too many star big men in the league. But this is the reason why I'm making this video. I think there's a new wave of big men that's already in the league, and more coming in the next few years that have evolved the center and power forward position. And these two positions will soon become like the point guard in the NBA, which means damn near every team will have a quality big man, whether that be a power forward or a center. This is the evolution of the big man. The NBA right now is a fast-paced and at times smaller game than the times of yesteryear. With the booming positionless basketball and small ball, which was popularized by the D'Antoni Suns and maximized by the Golden State Warriors, this style of ball works, but not in all situations, especially if the game's been slowed down, and that's what happens in the postseason. And it helps to have someone you can get the ball to and get reliable, efficient buckets, and someone to erase shots at the rim. This was shown in the finals last season with Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was utterly dominant in the finals. No one was able to stop him at all. The man averaged 35, 13, with 5 assists and a steal and 2 blocks a game. There wasn't nothing you could too much do with, bro, at all. Combine that with the MVP of the NBA being Nikola Jokic and one of the finalists being Joel Embiid. These 3 things got me thinking, had the ball rolling. And after taking a look around the league and noticing not just the NBA, but just basketball in general, players like Karl Anthony-Towns, Julius Randle, Domantas Sabonis, Anthony Davis, and other really good young bigs like Jaren Jackson, Christian Wood, Zion Williamson, who's a freak of nature, Bam Adebayo, and players like that. And I said to myself, it feels like the revolution is coming. And while the NBA still has players like Steph, LeBron, KD, Harden, Kyrie, Dame Lillard, and the list goes on and on, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, before I had this epiphany, about 4 or 5 years ago, the big man position was real scarce. There was a few good bigs like LaMarcus Aldridge, Anthony Davis, Blake Griffin, DeMarcus Cousins, Vucevic was around, Al Horford, but they weren't the top of the top. They weren't the star player outside of guys like Anthony Davis, LaMarcus Aldridge, and DeMarcus Cousins. They weren't really like the number one guy on the team. Still, they were impactful in the context of games, but not considered the best players on the court. Over the last couple years, this has changed and grown. I think there's good reason for this growth and coming boom. The way that the game is and was being played is at a faster pace and is broken down in traditional big men, with the exception of players like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Steven Adams and players like that. You throw in Derek Favors. But as soon as you saw the back to the basket bigs start to disappear, the game evolved super quickly to super athletic bigs who could jump out of the gym and toss shots to the moon. For example, guys like Rudy Gobert, DeAndre Jordan, Andre Drummond, a post-prime Dwight Howard, and Clint Capella. While there were some bigs that had more skill in the league on offense and things like that, they had more skill than athleticism. They didn't provide the defense or the vertical threat that the others did. So it's like you had one or the other. So with some big men, you had defense and vertical threat, and some big men, you had an offensive powerhouse. That was either a defensive minus or offensive liability. You know what I'm saying? Something had to give with the big man, and it changed with the ascension of guys like Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid. Anthony Davis was able to blend these skills and become one of the best big men in the NBA a few years after entering it. He had a back-to-the-basket game. He had a nice pick-and-pop mid-range jumper that evolved over time, the occasional three-ball, while still being a vertical threat. And then on the other end of the floor, if you add on top of that, he was a menacing defender. You know what I'm saying? He can guard, he can move his feet really well, and he's just like you're not going to the rim with Anthony Davis. You know what I mean? He's like the perfect blend of the big man. Another player that has the perfect blend is a player, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is one of, if not, the most dominant force in the NBA. He's unstoppable, bro. If he's posting up, you're food. You know what I'm saying? If he gets you outside, he can jab you, pump, draw a foul. He can get to the line, knock down his free throws. He can blow by you and boom on you. And then at the same time, he can still pick and pop a little bit. And then on defense, he's huge, bro. Like, he's huge. You're not finna go to the rim with him, bro. You're not. He's erasing your shot at the rim. You know what I'm saying? So you got him. And then you got the freak, Giannis Antetokounpo, the Greek freak, who I think is right now probably the most dominant player in the NBA. He's got an unstoppable offensive arsenal. He's got the mentality of a bull. He can score with people draped over him. He can dunk on you, block your shot, hit a nice little mid-range fadeaway, take you away from the basket, blow by you, and dunk on your entire team. And on defense, he can move his feet fluidly and erase shots at the rim. See the NBA Finals post Game 4. You seen that block he had in that pick and roll situation, right? Crazy. And there's still some big men who are offensive powerhouses that aren't great defenders. Emphasis on great. Players like Karl Anthony-Towns, Nikola Jokic, Nikola Vucevic, Domantas Sabonis. While their game is a little bit more tilted to offense, they're still impactful because of how great they are on offense. Especially guys like Nikola Jokic, Karl Anthony-Towns, Nikola Vucevic. Nikola Vucevic and Karl Anthony-Towns are known for their marksmanship outside of the arc. They're big men who can post you up, but as well they can operate in the mid-range and from three. And then you have guys like Domantas Sabonis who can blend all four of those things. He has a nice little three, mid-range pick and pop. He can dime you up, and he can finish and bang at the rim. And then you got Nikola Jokic, Big Honey, the reigning MVP. He can do everything except for dunk the ball. He can bang down low, finish with a jump hook. He can pop and hit middies, pop and hit threes. He's the best passing big man that I have ever seen in my life. He's really a point center, bro. Like, ain't nothing too much you can do with that, bro. That's why he's an MVP. Shout out to Big Honey. Now let's talk about the youngest coming up. And the reason primarily why I'm making this video. Let's start with the guys who are currently in the NBA and are highly talented and have the chance to be a hybrid. A player who can produce at a high level on offense, being a vertical threat, respectable shooter, and can bang down low and get easy buckets. And also on the other end can be an excellent defender and a racer and an anchor for your defense. Let's talk about one, Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is an athletic freak. He has ball skills, which means he can dribble the ball, pass it, post you up, do everything out there on the court. He just has to work. He has to get more well-rounded and be able to do things like that to be able to ascend to that next level. Then you got DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is more so of a post-up big who can dominate you down low. He is strong as hell to be 22 years old, bro. There's no way that he's 22 and he built like that and people talking about he's the next David Robinson. So that's ain't too much else I gotta say about that. Then you got Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. is more so of a marksman who can block shots right now. He needs to add weight, needs to get a little bit more savvy on defense so he can stop fouling out of games, and then he'll be able to ascend to that next level. Then you got Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is a rookie, but oh my God, is that bro? Oh my God, is he good, dog? His defensive impact has been stated already. He leads the NBA in shots contested so far in his rookie season. He has touch from outside of the arc. He has touch in the mid-range. He just needs to add more weight so he can bang down low, and he'll be the next perfect big man, bro. Me, like come on now. And another person who hasn't had the chance to be able to show their talents but has this in their bag is James Wiseman. James Wiseman was the number one player in a number 3 pick either 2 or 3 in the 2020 draft for good reason, bro. He's a versatile big man who could do everything. Hey, go back to watch his high school clips. Ain't nothing too much else to say about him. But out of those 5 players, Bam Adebayo, DeAndre Ayton, and Evan Mobley are the 3 I feel strongest about when it comes to being able to be that perfect hybrid. Now, moving on from the NBA, let's talk about some of the young fellas that's not in the NBA yet. The top 3 picks projected in the 2022 NBA draft are all big men. You know what I'm saying? You got Chet Holmgren, unicorn, 7'2", can dribble, shoot, block shots, finish at the rim, and he got that little dog mentality. So he's projected to be the number 1 pick. Then you got Paolo Banchero, who is a super skilled power forward, more so of a Giannis, Blake Griffin type of player where he can dribble the ball, he can give me an ISO, bop, 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 pull up, jump shot, bang with you in the post, and he can still boom on you. And then you got Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith is a little bit more tilted on the defensive end, but he's got a nice shooting touch. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do in college. And then you also got a couple other guys like Moussa Diabate at Michigan and some more other players. And even going into the next year's class in high school, the 2022 high school class, the number 1 player is a center, Derek Lively II, who can shoot threes and handle the ball. Oh yeah, this guy too. Yeah. France, Victor Wembanyama. I'm hoping I'm saying this right. Victor Wembanyama, right? 17 years old, 7'2", can do everything. So on that note, hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. Do everything you need to do. Share the video. And other than that, man, I'm out. Peace.